Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary, thanks for being here today. Thanks for being in person. We love virtual hearings, but this is much better. So ARPA H, have you given any thought to where that is going to be located?
Yes, we made the decision under the omnibus bill. We were given some direction on this. ARPA H will be a very autonomous agency. It will have a director that reports directly to the secretary, in this case me. It will be able to use the assets under the auspices of the NIH. It will likely be housed, because it'll be a much smaller entity, it will likely be housed in a separate facility because we want it to be nimble, and it will work under different direction because it will not be constrained by some of the requirements that we see in law for government employees.
So a suggestion for you, I would locate it in the state of Texas if you want it to be nimble. Let me ask you a question. You know, Title 42, we're all hearing about it. The administration says public health part of Title 42 expires May 23rd. Numbers of people who are likely to enter the state of Texas is already high, and it's likely to be staggeringly high. Are you making any provisions in your budget for preparing people in communities that are going to be the recipients of very large numbers of people who are likely do not speak the language and may be low skilled? Going to put strains on our education systems, going to put strains on our law enforcement, on our hospitals. How are we preparing the communities to withstand that? Since we're not going to protect the border, obviously.
Congressman, first, thank you for the question. There is an interagency process underway, so we can all make sure that we are following through on our obligations. On HHS's end, we're trying to be supportive when it comes to some of the healthcare issues that might be encountered. We also have responsibility, as I mentioned earlier in some questions, for any of the migrants who might come across as minors.
So let me, I'm well aware of that. I've multiple visits to ORR facilities since 2014. Title 42 enacted March 20th of 2020. The death rate from coronavirus at that point was probably what, 10,000 if that? Is there a public health emergency posed by the rampant importation of fentanyl across our southern border? What is the #1 cause of death from people 18 to 48 right now?
What I can tell you is that there is clearly a crisis going on when it comes to drug overdose and drug use. That's why we did change the strategy we have with regard to drug overdose. I will tell you as well that the Title 42 provisions that you mentioned deal with public health in a particular way. It deals mostly in terms of quarantine. It is different from the public health emergency declaration that is based on different law. But in both cases, they're premised on the health of the country and the health of particular communities. They're not based on immigration standards.
Yeah, but here's the problem. The danger to the American people is substantial, and the numbers are going to be staggering. Customs and Border Protection, DHS personnel on the border will be distracted by the large numbers of people that are just simply flooding across the border, leaving open the possibility for the vast importation of drugs, predominantly fentanyl, which is so terribly deadly, and we almost can't keep up with it. It is a true public health emergency. If there were a time to enact or to keep Title 42, it would be because of this fentanyl crisis. And I hope you will look into that.